this year, winning each game by an average of 16 points. ESPN Bet has the Celtics as an enormous favorite. They are minus 900. If you don't speak gambling, trust me. That's like Secretariat at the Belmont. Okay, that's what it is. So, Windman, you will be here. The best news to me about Celtics Knicks is it means that Windy is coming to New York for some of these games next week. You will be covering that series for us. So set the table here. Give me a scenario in which this is a series, because I think a lot of people don't think it'll even be that.
Okay, real talk here. If the Knicks get this to 6, they should get a ticker tape parade, okay? Because the Celtics have dominated them in this season. The Celtics have dominated the playoffs the last 2 years, guys. When I say that, I am not mocking the Knicks. Nobody's gotten the Celtics to 6. They're 20-4 in the playoffs the last 2 years. If you get a game off of them, you're doing really well. You get 2 games off of them, you're doing great. You're trying to outlast them a little bit because, sometimes they get, injured. Right now, Drew Holiday missed the last 3 games of their first-round series with a hamstring injury, and you would say, boy, Drew Holiday against Jalen Brunson, that's a vitally important matchup. Except for they've got Derek White, another all-NBA level defensive player. You've got, size and Jaylen Brown that they're going to put on him. They can even put Jason Tatum on him. Brunson did play very well against the Celtics this year individually. He shot over 50% and 43% on threes. But it's going to be a tall order. The Celtics are going to be rested. Game 1 on Monday night. You hope Jalen Brunson's ankle is feeling better by then. But they're going to need great stuff, not just from Brunson, but up and down their lineup, just to really make this any sort of series.
Absolutely. Alan, you cover the Knicks day in, day out, so you know it as well as anybody. Give us a quick thumbnail on what we can expect in what will be, I think, one of the real glamour series in this second round.
Yeah, 16th meeting between these franchises, but you have to keep 2 things in mind. Number 1, the Knicks have gotten 1 win in the last 9 matchups with this team. They struggle against them.
Wow.
They made blockbuster trades in the offseason for this matchup. Nobody thought the Cavs were going to be what they were. The Knicks were hoping that they'd be right there with Boston. They needed somebody that could pull Porzingis out of the paint, Karl-Anthony Towns. They needed another wing to deal with their wings in Tatum and Brown. So you bring in Mikal Bridges. Their roster was built for this series. But yet, what you saw in the regular season tells you they're still very far away.
Final word.
You're going to see Jalen Brunson, and he's going to have to be prolific in this series. You're going to see him hunt different matchups against Porzingis and Al Horford in pick and roll. If he can do that and relieve some space from Drew Holiday or Derek White, they might have a fighting chance, but it's not going to be great.
That series begins next week. Our next stop, meanwhile, is L.A. The Lakers coming off their 5-game first-round exit against Minnesota, one in which JJ Redick's coaching decisions have been called into question a great many times in places, including here yesterday. I asked Kendrick Perkins if Redick was to blame. Here's what Big Perk said.
You damn right I'm blaming JJ Redick. You damn right. Mr. JJ Redick, I know more about basketball than anybody else in the world. Mr. JJ Redick, where the world is watching and could see that you need some type of size and athleticism on the floor when you're going against a physical, lengthy Minnesota team, but you still leave this small ball lineup out there on the floor and leave a 40-year-old senior citizen in LeBron James to battle in the trenches for a 7-game series that went 5. This is not about X's and O's and schemes. This was common sense. You needed to make an adjustment.
All right, so that went super viral yesterday. And George Karl, Hall of Fame head coach, tweeted this as well separately from Big Perk. He tweeted, maybe previous coaching experience does matter to be a head coach in the NBA. Why are you making that face?
Because these are like petty, low-hanging fruit responses. Like I hear everybody talking about experience matters. That's why you have a staff of experienced people. It's not like JJ Redick was in a hole by himself saying, I'm going to come up with this scheme and I'm going to implement the scheme. He had over 30 years of head coaching experience. on his staff that helped him develop the scheme. Just for the record.
I hear that.
Just for the record. I hear
that.
And what people are trying to make it like
the head coach is always going to be the guy that takes all the.
I understand that.
You were saying this the other
Every
day
coach
about
has
Tom
a
Thibodeau.
system.
Agree. I agree.
When you were talking about Tom Thibodeau the other day, you were saying the same thing. The head coach has to wear all the credit, take credit and the blame.
Look, you want to be a head coach? I thought Michael Wilbon said it perfectly on our air yesterday.
There's accountability there.
So you take blame, it's his responsibility.
Agreed.
That's your job. When you're the head coach, this is your job. If you want your life to be easy, do what I do. Sit here after the result has been decided and analyze what just happened. That's a hell of a lot easier than in the fire, making decisions in the moment and then living with the consequences. JJ did. He took a few calculated risks. They didn't work. When that happens, you're going to get the blame, the responsibility, whatever word you want to attach to it. Does it make him a bad coach? Does it make him a bad guy? Does it make him dumb? It doesn't any of those things. He's a good coach. He's a very good guy, and he's a very smart guy. But he took a bunch of calculated risks. They didn't work. When you do that and you're a head coach, you're going to get the blame. That's
I agree.
life.
This is the second time this week that you and I have been in an argument, and I love it. So
I think we're saying the same thing.
Yeah,
no, we're not.
You're agreeing here.
We're arguing over whether or not we're arguing.
Agreed. But the thing is, I just don't like when it gets framed as who deserves the blame, all the blame. Like it's just that calculated decision that he made in Game 4 or those smaller things that require. That's the reason why they lost.
I hear you, and I'm gonna get Windy in a second, but very quickly. The not making the adjustment that Big Perk is referring to. It's not just that.
I so vehemently disagree with Perk. There were a ton of adjustments that were made in multiple games.
But not with anybody over 6'9". I mean, that's
I
what
agree.
he's
So
saying.
I'm not absolving
small.
JJ of every single thing. The Jackson Hayes thing is mind-baffling to me.
I think that's
but
what
obviously
he's
he does not have trust in Jackson Hayes if you're looking down your bench. And the one big guy on your roster, you're not going to play.
Let me give Windman the final word on this. Windy, go.
You go to any great coach. I don't care if you talk about Phil Jackson, Greg Popovich. I'm sure John Wooden and Red Auerbach would say the same thing. And you say, what was your first year of coaching like? And they're going to grab their head because they know that as great as a coach as you might be, you know in your first year you're going to make mistakes. JJ Redick may not today be able to look back and say it, but sometime he's going to look back and say, my God, that first playoff series, I made some mistakes. He's just gonna. And maybe the Lakers could have overcome it. Maybe it wouldn't have mattered. He made mistakes. We don't need to beat him up about it. It happened. He, at some point, I believe, will admit that. And then you try to move on. When the Lakers hired a coach in their 30s who'd never been a head coach before, they were betting on somebody who could be a superstar, which is absolutely on the table. And they were accepting that they were going to go through the growing pains, which is what we just saw.
Yeah, I think that's really well said. I think what Carl is saying is that you're hiring someone who's never been a coach basically on any level anywhere. I mean, Phil Jackson coached the Albany Patroons in the CBA, before he became the head, and then was an assistant before he became the head coach of the Bulls. That I think is what Carl is saying.
Yeah, but again, it's not. He did not look overmatched all season. He did not. He just had a moment. He didn't get a call, and he didn't get some shots to go down, and so he looks bad for
He's going to be a terrific coach.
Yeah.
He did a terrific job
really
this
good
year.
Rookie season.
You just know how people get it. It's like, a small mistake happens, you lose a series, all of a sudden, are you a bad coach? I'm like,
JJ also has, we all know it, he has the kind of personality that some people are turned off by, and they're looking for an opportunity to jump on him.
Guys, they're hard to deal with.
Yes.
That is fair.
That's exactly.
You heard what LeBron James said about us. So.
Okay. Coming up, as the Warriors were getting blown out in Game 5, Steve Kerr made a bold decision. Now, he's a very experienced coach. Did he make a huge mistake that could cost his team the series? We'll tell you what that was. Plus, the Bucks stop here. Where will the Greek Freak end up next season? What's the best fit? We've got the latest on